format model provides a structure for delivering those presentations, which means that you start your presentation in map number 1. What succeeds map number 1? Number 2, then number 3, then number 4. Very, very simple. What a lot of people do is, with a presentation, is they will ignore what we call map number 1 and dive straight into, let's say, the data. Okay, or the body of the presentation, ignoring map number 1, 3, and 4. So do you want to know what they are?
Yes.
Of course you do. Right, map number 1 is called the why. Please write it down, because we'll be looking at this morning. Map number 2 is the what. Map number 3 is the how. And map number 4 is called the what if. So why are we here? Why are we listening to you? Why is this important? Why is this important? Why am I investing my time right now in this particular meeting? So my question to you is, why do we ask the why question?
To understand what it's about.
You're the presenter, you know what it's all about. Why not just jump in straight to the body of the presentation? Why talk about the why?
To inform.
Tell what you're going to cover. To get the biting right from the beginning, spark of interest is the first thing.
Buy-in. Okay? Interest. Don't you?
We were saying buying the seats.
Oh, you said that as well.
Oh, that was what I was going to
You were going to say. And something else?
Scene setting.
Scene setting. Yeah, exactly. But what kind of scene do we need to set with the why? What kind of a scene?
Positive or deep.
Okay.
Otherwise you don't want to get, then you start buying through it.
Okay. Well, let's look at that. Let's look at that phrase buy-in. What do we mean by buy-in? And what does it imply? What do we mean by buy-in? And what does it imply?
Kind of getting them on board.
Getting them on board, yeah.
Getting interested from the
Interested.
Managing their expectations.
Yeah, expectations, good. Anything else? What does it imply? If we need to get people to buy in, it implies that we are, if I need you to buy in to the concepts of this course, I need to...
Sell it almost.
What are we selling? Our ideas, right? Buying and selling, okay? So we're selling ideas, we're selling concepts, we're selling perhaps solutions to problems, would you agree? So if we're selling solutions to problems and we need to get buy-in the why, we need to explain why it's a problem in the first place. Why do we believe it's a problem? When people realize the pain that they will experience if they don't do something about it, especially the pain at a personal level, they start to get personally involved. This actually affects me. Otherwise people go, doesn't bother me, I couldn't care less. That's why people just don't want buy-in, and you see it in the body language. We recognise that there's pain that we need to address. The thing that we have to sell here is the idea, but what aspects of the idea?
What's in it for me?
What's in it for me? Love it. Absolutely. Now we know why we're here. Let's now take a look at what we're going to do. Now we understand the problem, or now we understand what's some of the words? The benefits to the team. Now we understand why we have to do this thing. Let's look at what we can now do. What most people do is just jump in straight to the Can do. Let's just talk about doing it. Well, I'm not really too sure if we need it. Too late. You didn't do your why. Yeah? Use evidence, use data, use stats. Could say they're the same thing. But really, rather than just delivering a subjective opinion on the what, this is what I think we need to do about the problem, according to New Scientist, according to Forbes magazine, according to the FT. Okay, so you can quote some data, some reliable data. So we need to get reliable sources, don't we? According to the new legislation put forward this quarter by the HSC. Okay, then it's not you speaking, it's you being dictated to by the HSC, the new protocol, right? So then, don't shoot the messenger. There's no need to be nervous. I don't think they'll like this. I'm just the messenger, all right? So this is the data, this is the stats, this is the evidence, and because of what you've now presented, you're giving people ideas as to what they can do with that data, meaning they're brainstorming options as to how to solve the problem. You haven't told them yet how to solve the problem, have you? You've just told them that there is a problem and you've got buy-in where people accept that there is. People buy into a world they help create. So if you present all the data, all the stats, all the evidence that surrounds the concept and fills people's minds with ideas as to what we can now do to solve our problem, you then get someone at the back of the room going, oh, I know what to do. Great. That demonstrates, that's the passion, David. Okay, so rather than you focusing on you needing the passion, what about your audience you're speaking to? Let them express some passion. I've got an idea of how we can do this. Great, we're on board, guys. Okay, all right, so the other thing to do here is, what does this help you with? If you're providing evidence, data, stats, and citing your sources with the what category, or in the what category, what's it doing now to the concept and that you've got, the ideas that you've got? It adds a little bit of weight to it, doesn't it? Yeah, it gives you some gravitas, which is what we told as presenters we need. So you hold the room, she knows what she's talking about. She's read the right stuff. Yeah? But it substantiates your argument, doesn't it? Because you are standing on the shoulders of the giants that did the work. So you're going to go into depth now with the problem. What are the repercussions of the problem? How does this translate in terms of ripple effect? Who else is experiencing the problem? Who else is it affecting? Okay, so we've got team attrition down by, up by a certain percentage. Is it affecting morale? Camaraderie, teamwork, whatever it might be? Is it affecting performance? We're losing people. Yeah, so go into depth. Never, never, never forget this one. Context. If I deliver the presentation skills in the context of you speaking up at your school's annual general meeting, we'd have a very different conversation. Or delivering some other presentation, let's say a wedding speech. Okay, best man speech. You ever done one of those? No. Or maid of honour speech or something like that? No. All right. Different context. Okay, so the content there changes, doesn't it? All right. So you've got to get that context right. But this is also where you make sure that you deliver everything that needs to be said and does not need to be said. This eliminates the waffle, by the way. Lisa. Or the ramble, you said ramble, didn't you? So you decide in advance what's the content, and guess what? People just jump straight into that one and forget the rest. I need to say this, but if you need to say that, why did you also say these other things? Stick to your guns. Okay, but decide on what the key points are and do what even some preachers do, which is the 3-point sermon, if you will, even though you're not delivering a sermon. What are the main 3 things that I want to say, is what you ask yourself before you go in. And if you stick to those main things, then you can talk around those 3 things, those 3 points. Fine, do that. But always make sure you deliver on the 3 primary points. There might be secondary, there might be tertiary. Strategy. What is a strategy? And if by definition, and you could argue the case for and against, a plan should be strategic, what is a strategy? I got my own definition, you might have yours.
We achieving your targets.
Yeah.
What we're going to do.
What we're going to do? The way to achieve the target. Okay.
Key milestones or time-dependent actions.
Yeah, okay. See, what I would say with all those milestones is that you would have to have a predetermined awareness of what those milestones are before you implement a strategy, or at least design a strategy. So what I've said for years is a strategy is a step-by-step process that helps the realization of a predetermined outcome. You can write it in your own words. It's just a step-by-step process. And if it's step-by-step, that means you start with step 1, then you go to step 2, then you go to step 3, then you go to step 4. If I was to give you a recipe, which would be a list of ingredients together with instructions to bake a cake, and you take out, let's say, steps 4 and 8, you might end up with a pancake instead of a gatto. Which is fine as far as my kids are concerned, because they have pancakes every Sunday morning and absolutely love them. But if I was baking a gatto, I would think, this doesn't taste right, it doesn't look right. So you therefore, in map number 3, when you are giving the instructions, setting the directives, or issuing the directives to the team, you're very clear that of the importance, value, again, of each of those steps. So you go, step number 1, we do this, but you're telling them how to do it as well as why we do it. So you do like a mini why in each of the steps. Okay, same again if you're in an aircraft and the oxygen masks fall. Who do you serve first, yourself or your little one, if you've got a child sitting next to you? Yourself. Why is that?
So you're there to see it.
See that?
So you're there to see it.
Yeah, okay, otherwise you'll be passing out alongside the little one. Okay, so that is the why, that's telling you what to do and why to do it, correct? That's what we're talking about. So when you're explaining your strategy or your technique, or if you don't like the word strategy, your plan, okay, or your approach, this is how I think you should go about doing it, explain why you designed it that way. Then it validates every step of the way. We're looking for the missing pieces of the jigsaw. Okay, what is it you understand? What is it you don't understand? Okay, but what if is aptly named because what should follow would be words like, it doesn't work. What if we are successful? What if we are unable to achieve our outcome? What if we don't get buy-in from the rest of the company? What if it fails? What other what if questions could we ask? What other what ifs could you ask? What if you don't meet the deadline? What if you don't get the budget? What if the dynamics change? What if the market changes?
What consequence would be?
Mm-hmm. What if in 10 years no one's eating sugar?
That's already happened.
Well, yeah, exactly.